Football shirts in the 2020s are interesting. So far this decade has shown us so many cool designs and some not so. So let's take a look at why football kids in the 2020s are so inconsistent. People think I just criticise football kids, so I'm going to speed run through so many cool shirts just last season. Leeds United away shirt this year using their old badge, Greenland home shirt randomly, Crystal Palace home, Liverpool home shirt, Barcelona home and away, Man City away shirt and also the special edition Oasis one, Bayer Leverkusen home shirt. See, there's loads. And what I think a lot of clubs are smashing in this decade are the modern remakes of retro shirts. Retro shirts are a huge market, aren't they? We all know and love them, and of course clubs are going to want to cash in on it. And I'm going to start with Man City because a team with no history, they say. They were founded in 2008, but in reality, for fans who aren't just glued to X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, we know that Man City have a great history. And their 1999 away kit has been remade for this season, and I think it looks brilliant. Can you imagine being a City fan in 1999, seeing your team scrape past Gillingham to get promoted, then fast forward to nowadays seeing your team at the top level wearing the same kit? Look at Newcastle, what an away kit they had last season, and it was a remake of the 95-96 shirt, and that was one of their best seasons in the Premier League history, really.
I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Even look at the 2022 away Liverpool kit. That was a not very subtle nod to the 1996-97 shirt. To me, I think they're doing this because they're realising the retro shirt market is just massively booming. Especially on social media, because at a lower level, but you have idiots like me going on about how I love football shirts from the 90s and the 2000s. A cynical part of you just goes, well, it's a cash grab, isn't it, from the club? Sheikh Mansour doesn't know who Paul Dickov is. The Saudi PIF owners don't know who Asprilla is. But if they are done well, then who cares about the intent really? It shows a bit of history from the football club, it gives older fans a bit of nostalgia, and it gives newer fans, like I say, a bit of an insight into what happened before they were even born. The fit of these football shirts as well in this decade has dramatically increased. I won't go into it again because I've done it in like the last 3 videos, but the Puma skin-tight shirts are no more. I think they found the perfect balance now because it's in between you wearing a 90s shirt that feels like you're wearing a XXL shirt from your dad's wardrobe, or you wearing one of those Puma shirts from the 2010s that look like scuba diving gear. I think people have realised that fans do want to wear the shirts, not just to five-a-side and not just to the stadium. They want to wear them out and about, and I think that's become more acceptable nowadays. What about limited edition football shirts? Because at one point, I genuinely just thought it was a massive cash grab off the teams. They put no effort into it, and it was basically just a 4th kit. And it always felt the 3rd kit was the alternative one that they could try and flog off. I mean, a limited edition kit means it's available for a short period of time. And a lot of these designs, they didn't make you want to buy it within that time period. And I think we can all agree there's far too much just clothing with football teams nowadays. I went on the Leeds store the other day, and they're selling like basketball jerseys and stuff like that. But like I said earlier on, the Oasis or Noel Gallagher collab with Man City, I think did really well. It's one of those that I don't think Noel Gallagher needs the money, so it felt more authentic. But it is a cool collaboration because I'd say Oasis are probably the most important band tied to a football team. So the fact that they collaborated with the anniversary of Oasis' first album, Definitely Maybe. I mean, how cool is it if you're a Man City and Oasis fan and you've seen Pep Guardiola being on the old album cover? How about the Dortmund limited edition kit in 2021? It was brilliant, and it's so, it broke the website at the time. But that was one of those that Dortmund, I don't think it's up for debate. They had their best ever kits in the 90s. And I think it's quite cool because that was probably their most successful era. They had a Ballon d'Or winner, they had a Champions League. But let's go on to a critique of the 2020s. Because we can't just be so positive, we have to give a bit of stick. Gambling sponsors, good lord, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Can we please just stop putting them on the front of shirts? 11 teams last season had a gambling sponsor, not just on a sleeve, on the front of the shirt. And there's the morality side that I have a video coming out in a few weeks, I'll show you that. But it just doesn't look good, does it? I think it is immoral to promote gambling to essentially little kids through these football shirts, but just to go on the aesthetic of it, who wants? If you're an Aston Villa fan, I understand if you want the sponsors with Muller on it in the 90s. If you're a Leicester fan, maybe you liked the Walkers or the LG in the early 2000s. Please, if you are watching this video and you support a football team with a betting sponsor on it, Do you class any of those as a classic kit? It feels like these teams are just getting hijacked and basically becoming blank canvases to promote these. They're not even massive gambling sites, they're these weird ones that no one ever uses. I think, like it or not, sponsors do add something to a football shirt. In my head I go, Leeds United, they had Strongbow in the early 2000s, Arsenal had O2, Man United in the 90s had Sharp. I don't think it made loads of Arsenal fans join the O2 network, but it's a period in time where they can go back and go, yeah, we had the O2 sponsor, it did look pretty cool. And yet obviously you could say, well, do you want a financial service or an airline or someone like that on your shirt? No. And I know that is just the way the game is going, it's getting more financial, it's getting just bigger and bigger and bigger. But to me, it just cheapens the product, especially if you have no idea. It's like the Burnley kids over the last few years. What? Who are they? I don't even know who they are. And I get it because gambling sponsors pay the most, so they bring in more money and then they can buy better players and better players and better players. Fine. I get it. Football is a business. But if you're wanting fans to be proud wearing a shirt, I just don't think it looks very nice. We are seeing a comeback of long sleeves though, and that is a death that I still don't think I'm over it. I mean, seeing Fernando Torres in 2008 wearing long sleeves, that is just an iconic look that I don't think we've been able to recapture. I mean, think about Thierry Henry at the Bernabeu, just dominating that Real Madrid team, wearing that yellow shirt with the long sleeves and the gloves. But I mean, teams like Man United, for example, you'll see players like Diallo or Garnacho, they'll be wearing long sleeves a lot. And I like it because I do think it is a cooler look. Do I prefer if I'm playing football to wear a skin if it's cold? Yeah, probably. But I think, especially in England, you grow up playing with long sleeves if you're playing for schools or you're playing for Sunday League. So I think they do look cooler, but I do understand why they're not as comfortable. I do think the good part of the 2020s are that I think minimalism is dying a slow death at the moment, isn't it? We got to a point where teams would just put out these boring templates of a kit and they'd class it as minimalistic, but it was just boring and lazy. Spurs fans, I know you might disagree with me and it might be a retro look to the 80s with Glenn Hoddle, but some of those just plain white shirts, did you really like them? Because to me, it just looked like something they got off Pro Direct and put a Tottenham badge on it. The Liverpool 2020-2021 kit, to me, because people like that shirt, I just thought it was really lazy. It was the exact same template as multiple different teams in the world, and they just put different colours on it. And I suppose this does link in with the templates because, for example, Nike and Adidas, they just have a massive monopoly over the football shirt market, especially with international football shirts. And I think they thought, especially in the 2010s, the Barca shirt will look similar to the Liverpool shirt and the Spurs shirt, and that'll be fine because the fans will just buy it. And they will within reason, but I do think people are getting more wise to it. And if you're spending £80 to £100 on a football shirt, you expect a bit of creativity. I mean, in the Premier League, 11 out of 20 football shirts are made by Nike and Adidas. It used to be nearly every other club had a different kit manufacturer, and now a lot of them are just made by those two companies. So despite I think it is going out of fashion, when we see last season Nottingham Forest and Man United essentially having the same shirt just with a different sponsor and a badge on there, you do kind of go, well, come on guys, that is a bit lazy. I also think they're getting more creative because, I mean, it's a bad and a good, it's good for us that the fake football shirt market and the replica market is getting so much better. I mean, fake football shirts, they just feel like real ones now. So they're realising that and they have to be more creative because people look at the new Arsenal shirt and go, why am I going to buy it every season when I can get the 97 one, which will cost me £30. It does get insulting sometimes as a fan where they are just shipping these plain football shirts like Chelsea at the start of this decade. It's like, it's a ridiculous amount of money and they barely put any thought into it. So it's a good thing they're getting more creative because they need to. And I think they've taken the mick out of fans far too long now. Badges are going back into the middle for a lot of these teams. I think it should be a rule. Every international team should have a badge in the middle. I just think it makes it look so much cleaner, so much cooler. I mean, you're seeing it with Spurs now. Barcelona are going back to it, and it gives it more of a older feel, doesn't it? I mean, take a look at some of the Nike kits for next season. I mean, the Dutch kit looked brilliant. The Norway kit looks good. And obviously they'll be wanting to make them look good for next summer because that's when the World Cup is. The Nike logo turning upside down was a bit of a weird one. I mean, it's definitely brought to your attention. It's not for me. I don't think it looks terrible, and fair enough, they're doing something. But yeah, just more innovation like that. I mean, just something different, really. What I'll finish on in this, I don't know if it's football shirts, but pre-game jackets are getting so much more cooler nowadays. It got to a point in the 2010s where I think they just started making it the same colour as the kit, and it just looked like a football shirt with long sleeves and a zip. But you'll see it on social media all the time, you know, Paolo Maldini wearing the Italian warm-up jacket. All of them look so cool, don't they? And I think they're trying to get back to that nowadays. I mean, people will buy so much of football fashion, and like I say, now it's getting into people who aren't really into football but just wearing a streetwear. It will sell even more. And I love some of those nostalgic warm-up jackets. I tell you what someone needs to do. Leeds in the 70s, under Don Revie, they had all of the names on the back of the jackets after they won the league. I think Premier League teams should do that now because it just makes such a cool picture. Before we finish, I'll go on to some really cool ones of this decade and then some not so cool ones of the 2020s. Of course, I got to do a Japan one. 2022 home shirt was brilliant. The Roma away one in 2021. I like that they're going back to their old badge. Ajax in 2023 with the badge in the middle, that looked brilliant. But then we have to say a couple of bad ones. The Chelsea third kit in 2020-2021 season. I mean, we give the benefit of the doubt to third kits a lot because, again, it's a bit of a blank canvas where they can just throw loads of colours. And it feels like they just get drunk one evening and go, yeah, this will do. But that one has to be held accountable. It looks like a circus kit. Wolves away in 2021. I like the intent, I just think the execution was really poor. But overall, in this decade, I think football kits have got considerably better. It feels like a lot of teams are more unique than ever. And if we can just ignore those third kits that Puma put out for Milan, Man City and Fenerbahce, then we can all sleep at night going, you know what, it is good at the moment, and a lot of these football teams are being really creative. But let me know what you think of this decade. Do you think football kits are getting better? Do you think they're getting worse? I mean, it's completely each their own. Leave a comment below, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.